Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special inaugural Houston Astros edition of the We Want Houston podcast. I'm your host, Clayton Anderson, who covers the Houston Texans for Torah Times of the Fansided Network. Joining me today for this very first episode, the maiden voyage, if you will. You know him, Froggy. He's in your spaces, most likely. He's in your comment sections, giving you some good analysis, some passion, some fandom. What's up, Hayden, a.k.a. Froggy? How you doing, man?
Good. We're trying to survive the thing we call the 2026 Houston Astros experience. Um, going it's giving a lot of 2013 vibes,
Mm-hmm.
but we're a better team than 2013. But I would be lying to you if I said it's been a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's been interesting, very interesting. I'm excited to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Interesting is one way to put it. Absolutely. Just so that people know what we're talking about. So for the non-baseball knowers, the non-ball knowers. So this is Major League Baseball's Houston Astros, right? Multi-time championship winning Houston Astros that are in a bit of a rut in 2026. Actually, to be more factual, they've been in a bit of a rut / tailspin for the last 3 years. So currently, they have 47 and 54. 4 games back in what's called the American League West division in MLB and the AL, behind the Rangers and the Mariners. I think they're what, Froggy, 4.5 back of the Red Sox for a wild card, I believe.
Believe so. Red Sox have
Something
been
like that. So
insane.
yeah, so about 4 to 4.5 games back of the next closest playoff contender that you can knock off. And on one hand, you could say, oh, only 4 games. You got 60 plus games left in the season. No biggie. Yeah, that's until you have the season that they've had where, and we're going to get into it, but that's why I said interesting is one way to put it. But Froggy, lead us off, man. So as it stands right now, after the last sweep at the hands of the opponent we just played, which I don't know why I'm blanking on them.
Baltimore Orioles.
There you go, right there. I'm blanking so bad. There you go. That shows you the kind of season we're having. But the Baltimore Orioles came into Houston and put the boots to backsides after the All-Star break. A feeble 3-game sweep. The Astros put up no fight at all. Credit to the pitching that did enough, if you will. But we're
Enough.
gonna enough, right? Outside of like some Brian Kingisms and all these things, but the offense did not show up. And yeah, we're here now where we're talking once again about all the troubles that ail the Houston Astros. But Froggy, lead us off, man. So after the sweep was complete, what were your first thoughts?
Kind of have to go against something you said. It wasn't a beatdown.
Mm,
That's the thing that irritates me. It wasn't a beatdown.
mm,
First game was so winnable,
mm,
right? Peter Lambert puts up a career game, phenomenal game.
mm,
Brian King, who I'm indifferent on, I
mm,
think he's a good reliever. I think he's extremely overworked now.
mm,
We saw in the Rangers series, he had to pitch like 2 innings of 40 plus pitches. He's
mm,
struggling out there. And he's gassed in the national series. He was used like 2 out of 3 games. He was gassed. He's not like an Okert where he gets 1 inning.
mm,
Brian King gets multiple innings because he's earned that trust. And he's just been getting rocked. And it kind of showed that with the game deciding home run on Taylor Ward that game one. And then game two might be, Clayton, the most frustrating game of the season.
mm,
The most frustrating game. Because you had bottom 10, you were tied. Bases loaded, no outs,
mm,
a shallow out, throw out. And game three, it's Hunter Brown he's looked not great. Career high in walks in a game where you don't expect that because Hunter Brown pounds the zone.
mm,
And this was one of the more frustrating series because I think every single game, of this series was winnable to me. The Orioles did not play great at all. They did not. Like Gunnar Henderson didn't do anything. Adley Rutschman barely did anything. All the heavy hitters except for Taylor Ward didn't really do anything. And we just
mm,
handed them the series.
mm. Sounds like the story of the Astros in 2026 to me, my friend. So again, for those who think we're overreacting, I mean, this level of suctitude goes back to before the All-Star break. So after getting swept handily by the Baltimore Orioles, that has meant the Astros had dropped the last 3 series. Like I said, across the All-Star break to now, against the Nationals, against the Rangers, and now against the Orioles. And really, within the last 2 series against the Rangers and the Orioles, they've lost 5 of their last 6 games, right? So, which again puts them right where they are. And now you have people all over social media. Not that it's new, but fire Espada and fire Dana Brown and Jim Crane sell the team, hashtag all this stuff, But I mean, Froggy, listen, in the midst of all the hysteria that we have right now and the disagreements, as you mentioned to me directly in our thread to kind of initiate this whole thing, there are internal issues, right? Like there's not just one fix all for this problem right here. Like we opened up with the show, excuse me, the Astros have been slowly tail spinning since 2022 after their World Series championship. And this is a perfect segue to what I'm going to say, Froggy. And then I'm going to lob it up to you for kind of what you're trying to say later on. So I put this post up a couple days ago, right? It's about last time I checked about 80,000 impressions, which again, it's not much. Whatever. I'm not in it for the numbers, but it's just interesting to see the reactions to this post. So I said it all went downhill for the Astros from here. Jim Crane decided this, and the bill has come due 3 years later. After a decade of dominance, the Astros have been reduced to a smoldering heap of what they used to be. While dynasties rise and fall, some implode prematurely due to self-inflicted wounds. Now, Froggy, my friend here, I got a lot of reactions. Some agree, some disagree vehemently. I do want to isolate on one point. People are trying to characterize those words as though I'm saying that, oh, James Click alone held up this franchise and he's the one who won you 2022 and all these things. To quote Stone Cold Steve Austin, like that. That's not exact. That's not at all what I meant. What I meant when I posted that post, when I've said this over and over, firing James, I'm sorry, they let him go. Froggy, for factually speaking, they let him go, renew his contract. But you and I both know, Froggy, that if your boss does not renew your contract, effectively they're firing you off the books, right? So you lowball him, you don't bring him back. After the man won you your second championship, a lot of people argue your first legitimate one, but whatever, 2 championships, they count. Forget y'all Dodgers. But the reason why I say it all went downhill, Froggy, is because I feel like firing James Click was emblematic of the departure from the analytically driven, cutting edge baseball nuanceness that made you at one point the Titan that you were. Right. Again, mind you, right, we understand that teams don't win always. Dynasties do not last always. They come and they go like the wind, like the weather. We all understand that. But like I said in my post, sometimes success is cut short because of egos, pride, a lot of self-inflicted things that don't have to happen. To where, let's say your dynasty was supposed to end, but maybe how ugly that it got at the end did not need to happen. So when you fired a James Click or let him go, and then eventually Dusty Baker, what happened was you then went back to, I guess, what, like Jeff Bagwell, for example, he's caught a lot of flack, and somewhat rightfully so, because there are quotes of his floating around where he's dogged analytics and numbers, and this is not a sport for machines and computers. This is for people. Yeah, that's cool if there are results. And the Houston Astros right now, since parting ways with James Click and really departing away from what made them great, the cutting edge, analytically driven, getting cost effective moves to work, right? They are now the team that are trailing the rest of the league. They are the guys who are bringing rocks to a lightsaber fight, basically. The rest of the league has taken their blueprint and they are lapping you now, while you are sitting here telling your fan base to hang on. At the end of the day, we're competitive. We're gonna get there. All these kind of cliche things. Check the back of the baseball card. Those kind of things that don't give you results in today's modern baseball league, Froggy. So that's kind of what I meant when I said James Click thing. I'm not saying that James Click held up this franchise. As a matter of fact, Froggy, I'm about to let you go. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, but it's because I've been waiting on this moment, Froggy. I'm actually happy you brought this up. Oh, because I'm about to cook up, because a lot of people again love to speak. I like to bring facts and statistics and data. And again, debate me. That's fine, respectfully. Let's keep it respectful. So real quick, let's talk about it.
I'm kind of indifferent.
No, I got you. No, and I respect that, and I want to hear what you have to say. This is just my thing, right? James Click served as the GM for the Astros from February of 2020 after Luno was fired, right? To November 2022, notably winning the 2022 World Series. We know that, right? Rather than making blockbuster deals, Click focused on analytical signings and smaller trade deadline transactions for who? Relievers and bench depth, right? So not star hunting, not like this is an NBA roster, a baseball-minded guy who understands you need layers of players to be effective, right? Who did he get? Kendall Graveman, Rafael Montero, guys like Phil Maton, Christian Vasquez, right? Who are back here. and Trey Mancini, our friend, who had it not been for his clutch catch at first base off of Kyle Schwarber,
Different series.
who knows, right? Like, exactly. Who knows what happens in the World Series in 2022? Anyway, Froggy, my hands are off of this. That's just kind of my thing. But Froggy, what's your take on this, man?
Well, I think so. When Click got released, so I really loved what you said about the relievers. You brought in Graveman, who was a big leader in the bullpen. You brought in guys like Montero, who, you know,
He had his moment.
all GMs get bit. You know what I mean? All GMs get bit. Click got bit with Montero. Montero was a kind of a postseason 2022 wonder. He had some moments in 23, but it was all downhill from there. And
He
then
did well.
Vasquez and you know, Red Sox fans should actually thank us because if you know what they gave, if you know what we gave up their now two-time Gold Glove right fielder Wilyer Abreu to them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think we gave up Jose Siri
We did
for
along the way, yes.
Vasquez. I'm not sure. I have to do the transaction
I know
history.
Siri went to the Rays. I know that much.
Yeah. I forgot who we gave up for Mancini, but that's indifferent. I
Mm-hmm.
do think now when they let Click walk, I was very questionable. I was very questionable how they would adjust this. And you know what, Clayton? I like the Dana Brown hiring because the Astros going into 2023 never really had a great farm system.
Mm-hmm.
They never did. Like for a while, and now, like now to the present, it's getting better because Dana Brown knows what he's done. Because if you look at Dana Brown's track history, he did well in the Nationals drafting guys. He drafted, I think, Michael Harris and Spencer Strider in ATL. I think
Mm-hmm.
he kind of was I think he was kind of in the mix of them signing Ronald Acuna too,
Mm-hmm.
internationally. And then to the managerial part, I'm not going to put blame on Joe Espada because, and I say this respectfully, but you know what I'm talking about. Joe Espada
Mm-hmm.
is not Dusty Baker.
Mm-mm.
There will never be another Dusty Baker in baseball. He was his own, and that's a lot. That's big. Those are really big shoes Joe had to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe got a lot of respect from me in 2020 last season when they remember when the Astros were dead in the water. They came back in the summer. We just missed it by a game.
Yep. By one game.
Joe rallied the troops and fought back. Now it feels like the entire team is checked out from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a prime example. Game 3 of the Orioles series, down to the final out, there was a guy on base. There was a walk, I believe. And then up came Zach DeZenzo. DeZenzo I think it was a 2-2 count.
Mm-hmm.
The ball gets away. He swings at it. The ball gets away. I think it goes to the backstop. I think it goes away from everybody. Jeff Blum is telling him to run, because with DeZenzo's not slow.
Mm-hmm.
He's not fast, but he's not horribly slow. He's not Yiner slow or Paredes
Mm-hmm.
slow. He can move. You're an outfielder. He just walked away. One of the biggest reasons we lost,
Mm-hmm.
Clayton, was because Altuve didn't charge a ball. Like, there's no energy. If we're going to buy, play like you're going to buy. Red Sox, 13 in a row. They're going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Twins. Now, mind you, I don't know what the hell the Twins are. But they might sell because they're the Minnesota Twins, but still they're
Mm-hmm.
playing with high energy. The
Right.
Royals suck. Athletics suck. Angels don't even count anymore as a baseball team. Uh, the Yankees are
Mm-hmm.
the thing that's hanging us together, Clayton, is this. The
Mm-hmm.
American League has been one of the worst it's ever been in years, decades.
No
It's
exaggeration. You are
it's
correct.
terrible. The Kansas City Royals, who we thought were going to be a better team because they had the pitching in the lineup now,
Mm-hmm.
are 23 games under 500. The Detroit Tigers stink, and they're not going to trade Tarek Skubal. The Guardians, it's between the Guardians and the White Sox. The Chicago White Sox are leading the division, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, they are. They are. The
And
White Sox have been perpetually bad by a
and the
game.
in the AL West, I personally think the Rangers don't have much of a future because look at their stars. Seager's in his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
DeGrom and Evaldi are getting super old. Jock Peterson, I think 32.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they don't have much of a future either. And the Mariners are the most disappointing team in the AL to me. I picked them to win the division this year because they're just a front-loaded team. You got Brendan Donovan. You got this pitching staff. They sucked. You beat the Giants. Great job. The Giants, I think, are like, what, 15 games under 500? The American League is really bad. And I would be talking different, Clayton, if we won, the National Series, the Nationals have an electric offense. I'll give them credit where credit is due. That team is fun. You have no excuse for the Rangers. You have no excuse for the Rangers. Javier, I know it was his first start. He looks way better in the bullpen anyway. It was his first start. I think it was a spot start. He got shelled. Not even shelled. He got hit around. And then it's up to Joe. Like Joe, I know he has a lot of confidence in Brian King. But I mean, I remember you had Daniel De Los Santos warming up. Daniel was ready to go. You had 3 righties, and then you let him face Kyle Higashioka. You should have let him pitch. You should have let him get the 2 outs like you did in the bottom of the 8th, and then bring in De Los Santos to face Higashioka, and then you would have won the series because Josh Hader's Josh Hader.
Well, and that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying it's frustrating. It's really frustrating because this team has so much potential because this roster is loaded. You have Jeremy Peña, who I think is one of the better 5-tool players in baseball. You have a guy who I think is going to win a Triple Crown, a guy who's going to be a future Hall of Famer in Yordan Alvarez. You have one of the better young short third basemen. I say young because Isak Praise looks 40. He looks 40, but he's 27 years old. You have a future Hall of Famer in Jose Altuve. Yeah.
Hey, look for Dang. All right, continue.
But Christian Walker, 35. No clue he was 35, but good. And then you have Cam Smith, who I think is going to be a darn good baseball player. And then you have 2 outfield spots, which are basically TBD. The biggest thing that affects this team is they do not have a bench. They don't have a reliable bench. Zach DeZenzo isn't MLB ready. He's not. Vasquez, I think, is MLB ready. He's a 3-time World Series champion. 3-time World Series champion. He's caught multiple no-hitters. He's MLB ready. I think Taylor Trammell, like we said before, he's serviceable. He's okay.
Yeah, he's fine.
I think he's fine. He's fine. And then you have guys like, there's Kevin Biggio, who are just rotting in the minors. So I think Kevin Biggio, if I'm not wrong, is hitting 371 in AAA.
Something like that. Yep.
I'm very indifferent on the Houston Astros at this point because I'm not going to give up hope, which my hot take, I think we're still a postseason team just because the American League is terrible. If this was last year, we're done because there were really good AL teams. The Red Sox had Bregman and the We Believe Red Sox were rolling. Yankees had they were. I mean, Aaron Judge was bad. I mean, you had a lot of things that were like not going well, and then you had things who were very just indifferent on. No, you had the Yankees who were a powerhouse. Guardians had J-Ram. They were moving. Actually, no, I'll recorrect myself. The Guardians were terrible last year, and they had like a 15-game win streak. And then the Tigers had the Triple Crown winner in Tarek Skubal, and they were rolling. This team has, and this is what frustrates me. This team has talent, and we're just forfeiting it. That's my thing. And I think I might say I think it's Chandler Rome. If you're gonna play, and he said beautifully, if you're gonna play like a buying team, play like it. Play like a buyer. You're playing like a seller. But I'm gonna throw it back to you. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, man, look, bro. You asked me off a stream. Hey, you want to talk Joe Espada? You want to talk this narrative? And it's like, to use your word indifferent, I'm kind of almost apathetic. Like, why? Right? Like, because we're at the stage right now where it seems like we're just punching down on somebody. It feels like we're beating a dead horse. Listen, I'll put my hand up to this. I have been really tough on Joe Espada, publicly, privately, like to my wife. Just go ahead and ask her. Like I have been very tough on Joe Espada. I feel like, to me, I'm just not inspired by his style of leadership. I'm not saying he has to be a rah rah, beat your chest, curse you out kind of guy. I don't think he had to be that way. But I mean, listening to his press conferences, listening to him talk, it just comes off very participation trophy. Put on your cleats 1 foot at a time. That kind of thing. Like, and it doesn't move me, and I just wonder what it
I'm not
does for these.
moved.
I'm not. It does nothing for me. The joke, even when he got thrown out, like which happens once every blue moon, was like it looked like one of the nicest throwouts, and I forget which game it was, but it was like last season, and he was
Altuve
like,
got hit in the foot. That's the one versus the
"What?
Padres.
What about
He
that?"
got hit in the foot.
Some of that, and then the now team joked that like Espada walked up and asked the umpire like, "Hey man, can you just throw me out?" So anyway, but this isn't.
I
I'm just
remember
saying
that.
that narratively speaking, it's easy to try to dunk on Joe Espada, but he's low hanging fruit. Espada can only do so much, and I guess that's where I would give Espada some credit in that from 2022 to 2026 being now. I mean, point me to what team he's had that's been fully loaded, fully healthy for all 162. Heck, for 152, 142, 100, right? Like, and I'm not trying to give him excuses, but realistically, you can only play with who you have, and that's before counting roster mistakes, whiffs by Dana Brown, which we're gonna get to. But like Espada can only do so much with the hand he's dealt. Like Yordan missed games that were vital to missing the playoffs, and I want to say in 24, I believe,
Last
or
year it was bad
25.
too.
Right, like Yordan missing time. Kyle Tucker missing time with that. We found out eventually was a cracked fibula or a cracked leg, things of that nature.
Cracked
Uh,
ankle.
Wisniewski, you pitched him like once or twice, and he's been on the IL ever since. So he's coming back. Like he just really hasn't been able to manage with a fully healthy team. So that's the one asterisk I'll give Espada is that for as much as I want to talk about the lack of inspiration that I experienced in listening to him as a leader, I can't then ignore the fact that the man has never coached one full season with a full deck of cards. I got to give him that. Now, which moves me to my other point, which is roster construction, and you kind of talked about it, right? You
Right.
said this team has a lot of potential. I agree, and that's a Spada thing. But this team has, I will say this, for as much potential as this team has, they have just as many holes. And not just
Mhm.
holes, but they have holes in disastrous places that are instrumental to why it is you cannot string together a good inning, a good 3 innings, a good game, a good 2 games. Why April was so bad. Like just an example, here's another graphic because I like graphics on this show. So right here, right, just starting with the batters, right? Again, I posted this a couple days ago. Astros batting averages. Froggy, you got one dude hitting above 300. That's Yordan.
Of
Okay, cool.
course.
If you want to say, oh, that's unrealistic, pick somebody else. All right, cool. Batters hitting 290 plus. Now you got Yordan and Jeremy Peña.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Then you scroll down. Batters 250 plus. Now you jump up to three. That'll be Isak, right? The guy who looks 40, right? Then underneath that, guys hitting in the range of 210 to 250. That's when it balloons. That is the entire
Yeah.
rest of your roster, batting wise, right there. Christian Walker, Jose Altuve, Nick Allen, Lamonte Wade, Cam Smith, Christian Vasquez, Taylor Trammell, Yainer Diaz. And I said, when only 3 of your 14 plus, which is 21.4% of your batters hit above 250, that's bad. And I shouldn't have said just above 250, like when they're not even like eclipsing 250, like when you are 211, 230, 220, especially guys who are not hitting with runners in scoring position. The Houston Astros are a middling team, I think, to below average. I want to say they're 18th. And I don't want to misquote the number, but it's like that's kind of their ranking. They're mid to below average and hitting with runners in scoring position. Jose Altuve being like one of the biggest culprits in that regard. Christian Walker being one of the biggest culprits in that regard. Like that's why I said for just as much as potential that they have, this team is really struggling in a lot of baseball reasons. Like they're not hitting with runners on. There are too many times where bases are loaded or runners in scoring position and it's pop out, fly out. It's something like that just don't work in your favor, and it happens way too much. That's just the
Mhm.
batters. The pitching side of things, sir. I was not able to pull up the graphic because you were speaking and your point was done. But sir, I'm gonna tell you what Brian McTaggart and others have said. Chandler tags others. When at least 4 to 6, this is to Dana Brown now. When 4 to 6 of your off-season additions, from Tatsuya Imai to Mike Burrows to Ryan Weiss to like a bunch of these guys have been DFA'd, some before the All-Star break, some after the All-Star break. Guys have been optioned. Brian King, JP France been DFA'd. Like, you couldn't have asked for a worse pitching catastrophe if you tried to, in a season where you have no more years on your contract and you're supposed to field some type of, if not a World Series champion, Froggy, just competence. That's it, Froggy. Because I believe if you go back far enough, when the pitching was truly a catastrophe, like bad, where chronically you were giving up 7 to 10 runs every other game, if you just were competent with your pitching staff, this is a winning franchise right now. Like, you're probably clearing the AL West by like 5 games right now. That's how pathetic the AL West has been, right? But the fact that you have not even been competent, like, starts with roster construction, but really low key starts in a circular way with Mr. Jim Crane, who, yes, I'm going to give him his flowers, because there are a lot of people who don't want you to ever criticize the owner because he won you 2 championships and he helped bring baseball back to Houston, all this stuff like that. That's cool. But Froggy, we're in a what have you done for me lately business, right? That doesn't mean that we're going to ignore what you've done, right? Thank you. You brought championships back to Houston. It's been like, what, 20, 30 years since this happened. Thank you. We appreciate it, especially after Hurricane Harvey, when this city was hurting and just looking for some kind of light and hope. You provided it. Thank you so much, right? Having said that, it's been at least 3 years now. It's been almost half a decade. And when you went away from Jeff Luhnow and AJ Hinch, fine. But then you went away from Dusty Baker and you went away from James Click. This is the bill coming due. This roster is terrible. Besides injuries, and I need people to get off that for a second. Okay. You have tried to make C+ players into B+ players. You have tried to make D+ hitters into A+ hitters in certain capacities. Like, and then on top of that, Frog, and I'm going to give it back to you, man, because I've been talking enough already. But on top of that, our farm has suffered. Our farm has been abysmal for a few years now. Now, we have some guys coming up, Neans, and got Yannick on here. You got Alvarez, right? Seemed like everyone with the last name Alvarez hits. So we got some guys bubbling up, like Alola, guys like that. But outside of that, there have been too many times with Bregman, with Frommer, you know what I'm going to say, guys who, outside of Kyle Tucker, who you traded, thankfully, you've let stars walk out of here without refilling your farm system or doing something. And that's another reason why this team is the way it is. So it's not just any one thing, Froggy. It's a combination of things that have their beginnings in an owner who got overly involved, or I guess in a better way of saying this, after the scandal, the way that he got involved was very heavy-handed. It went away from what made you great. And now we're seeing what this is, where now it's like you are this decrepit old thing that the league has long since passed by on, and you do have a lot of potential, but that potential cannot be unleashed while you are still trying to keep up this facade that is 2017 through 2022. You got to let that one go, because that roster is gone. Jose, when you traded LMJ, Jose is the last guy who was there from the first championship. This is basically a completely new rock. Well, Correa's there, but
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget how Correa's back
he
because
is
he's
okay.
hurt. But I'm not going to put against him. I'm not going to put against
Yeah,
Carlos because he
anyway, but
freak injury.
I'm gonna land the plane, man. I've been talking too much, Froggy, but not to
I love
dominate the
this.
conversation. Yeah, not to dominate the conversation, man. But it's so many things, which is why, Froggy, to your question, no, I'm not gonna dunk on just Espada, because he's really one of the last guys I blame. Is he imperfect? Yeah, sure. Are there moments where I wish he'd not throw a struggling reliever out there for the third time to blow a third straight game? Absolutely. But when you have nobody else behind him, when like you got pitchers coming back, you got Burrows, who was terrible. When you have Tatsuya, who has been mid at best, LMJ, who you traded, there's nothing else a manager can do. You're getting older, your guys are not performing well, and you're looking very much like you need to be selling. And my biggest hope, Froggy, and then I'm done. I just hope that, because I've been at Bonda, been on the top, he said this, that according to his sources, that if there was going to be any selling happening, Jim Crane would have to do it, because it seems as though Dana Brown is all in on trying to buy. And so my biggest thing is, I just hope that we do not see a situation where we mention Alvarez and Yans and guys like that. I just hope that we do not mortgage our future or mortgage essential pieces of what could be your future to try to salvage a job that has been gone, right? Like that, a season that is lost. Do not try to save this season. It is DOA. It's done. You tried. The gas tank is empty. Pull over off the road. Fill up for 2027, 2028, because you got to sell. Get the value while you can, and move on. I just hope that we don't see them try to desperation heave something and you wreck your future. Then you truly have nothing. I'm done.
Absolutely. Now, to go with some of the points you said, which were really good, I agree with the things about Jim Crane. I also agree with the thing you said about, Kyle Tucker. Trading him was good. Trading him was good because you see what he is now. He's regressed. He even regressed a little bit as a Cub. Getting Cam Smith, getting Paredes and Cam Smith alone was a win. Because Paredes now, I think, is a prime extension candidate. Because number one, Isak Paredes is not a Boris client. He is, I think a Latino agency owns, or I think he manages him. So I think an extension with him really could be happening.
Should.
Bregman, I think I'm indifferent on. Bregman, I knew he was going to leave. The Astros weren't going to trade. They were going to do him nasty. They were going to let him walk respectfully. And he has his bag now in Chicago, which he's struggling in his own right. Framber, I was okay with letting go. After everything that happened, how he disrespected the team, he could leave. I'm indifferent on that because he kind of threw away that final stretch of the season by himself. But to go to the place of selling, I would agree to the extent of what do you want to sell? In my radar is this. I don't want them to go all in on players. But if we have 15 games, Clayton, till the trade deadline. Yep. Officially today, we have 15 days. I think 14 now. Or 15 games starting now, tonight, versus the Marlins. If you win, I say if you have a winning record in those next 15 games, if you call up the Rockies, Clayton, for like, say, Mickey Moniak or Jake McCarthy, or you call even the Giants about, hey, look, what you want for Robbie Ray? If you go get like two of those not huge names, because Mickey Moniak and Jake McCarthy or Robbie Ray, those aren't huge names.
Right.
Those aren't it's not like we're asking, oh, hey, give us Hunter Goodman, give us Logan Webb, give us Rafael Devers, give us like Willie Adames. We're not asking for that. If Dana Brown, maybe, I don't know. If they say, hey, look, if the Rockies called me and said like this, hey, we want Miguel Luola for Mickey Moniak. Do that. Luola's been in the minors for, I think, 5 years now. He had to get protected from the Rule 5 draft. Do it. It's not like, I don't want to sound rude, Clayton, but pitching in Colorado isn't that effective. Colorado's a launching pad. Hunter Goodman just had 3 home runs last night. It's a launching pad out there. If Mola can have a good, solid career there, sure, go. You're probably going to get dealt again. Maybe throwing James Hicks, a lower prospect than that, sure, fine. Bruce Mayer. But Robbie Ray is like, I think, because you're not going to trade Logan Hughes. You're not going to trade the guy who just got drafted. You're not going to trade Nines or Alvarez.
You shouldn't.
Yannick, I think, is an extent where I was getting to a point, Clayton, where I'm kind of okay with Yannick. I'm kind of okay. I'm cool off Yannick. He's a great defensive catcher.
Sure.
Phenomenal defense. His offense isn't there. I think he's hitting below the Mendoza line. Plus, we have a guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name's Jason Schiavone. He's in our. Yeah. He has like 24 bombs in the minors this year in AA.
I heard.
Dude's raking. I'm cool off Yannick. And going back to if you're okay with me going back a little bit, you talking about the old head mindset, the old player mindset of, say, a Bagwell. Can I give you another example? Look what's happening with Buster Posey in San Francisco. Buster Posey saying, oh, hey, look. Now, mind you, Matt Chapman was fine, right? They had Matt Chapman for a bunch of years. Matt Chapman's okay because I think he's one of the best defensive third basemen I've ever seen in my life. He's fine. Devers was his own thing because they were in the race last year. You go get Rafael Devers. Red Devers is mashing. Past 8 years, I think he has over 20-plus home runs. Adames was bad. Got a couple years in the Brewers, and you let him go walk with Willie Adames. That's a lot of money. You're in a bad place right now. Logan Webb's not being the Cy Young candidate. Logan Webb usually is. Robbie Ray is Oh, Robbie Ray. I mean, it'd be funny if we had him on this team because Yordan would like a word after 2022. Landon Roop. Was it Trevor McDonald? Uh, that team isn't good. If there's one guy I want off that team, Clayton, because I kind of want to talk about potential candidates for you in terms of targets. Because look, I'm okay with Houston getting good players if the contract is reasonable. If that makes sense. Jung-Hoo Lee's perfect for this baseball team. When's the last time we had a surefire, quality, all-around center fielder? Springer? 2023 Chaz McCormick? Which, I mean, Chaz got hit in the back, and then, the injury just kept lingering, which I miss McCormick, but it's kind of real on the walls. Yeah. Same thing with Jake's injury. Jake was a great player last year. Didn't have a lot of homers, but he was a great bat-to-ball guy. Now, like, you traded Jesus Sanchez, which I thought, that's a lot of money. I think it's $12 million ARB. Getting Lopez back, I think, is fine. Yeah. I mean, I think Joey Lopez is going to get called back I think he's going to get called back to the team pretty soon. Yeah, you should. But, Reinaldo Delgado, I mean, okay. I want to be optimistic about this team. I don't want to just have a fire sale because that's not what you do. I think you constructively look at the market, say, hey, because Clayton, if you telling me in 15 games, if you telling me Dana Brown brings me Robbie Ray, and Mickey Moniak, and maybe we package. What if we get Robbie Ray, Mickey Moniak, and or Jake McCarthy? You gonna get me that? And if you don't give up a lot, credit to Dana Brown. Because look what happened. Because when you look at Clayton, I will defend Dana Brown in this aspect. The trades he has made, because you said, so Dana Brown came in 23, if I'm not wrong. The trades Dana Brown has made haven't bit him in the butt yet. The Verlander trade, remember when we got him back from the Mets?
Right, we traded
Drew Gilbert and Logan Clifford, or Ryan Clifford. They haven't appeared to anything. They're both in the minors still getting lapped. Right. The Yusei Kikuchi trade. Will Wagner, Jake Bloss, I forgot the other two. Or I forgot the other one, right? Oh, Loperfido. Yeah. Joey's back. And then Will Wagner, I don't know if you knew this, Will Wagner got traded again to the Padres, and then Jake Bloss has been putrid to the Blue Jays and the minors. Sure. So I will say that he hasn't been bitten in the butt yet, but I will use not an analogy, but a term. You can play with fire until you get burned. So far, Dana hasn't been burned on trades. Because Correa, you didn't give up anything, right?
Not really, no.
Jesus Sanchez, I think you gave up who? Was it? I think it was Gusto. Yeah. And I mean, Gusto, I think is like a high threes, low fours ERA. See, my dog's going crazy because he agrees that Ryan Gusto is terrible, but he hasn't been bitten yet. But I want to get your analysis on if there are players. Would you be okay with a trade that could really not hurt the farm, but could you see life in this team? And if they went out these 15 games?
Sure. So I'm glad you said that, sir. So I'm actually looking at an article posted by CTH Climbing Towers Hill. I don't know if you frequent them or not, but yeah, fan sided Climbing Towers Hill. So writer David Lesky said this. This was 11 hours ago. And the title of his article was 11 trade targets that would be great for the Astros if they weren't on teams that hated them. Right. So to your question about are there some pieces out there that you'd appreciate? I mean, sure. It just depends on how much, like you said, how much you're giving up and what teams are willing to play ball. Because as we know, for some reason, the Houston Astros, people love to dance on their graves and any chance they get, which I believe is just a lot of jealousy and just hate going on, basically. But
like, why do the Kansas City Royals hate us?
look, man,
You've been bad since 2015.
Yeah. Look, at this point, I just think it's part of tradition now. I think that's just a new thing. I think it's done because it's popular and not because a lot of fans actually feel that way. That's
For
just what they do.
sure.
So, but five names here that I looked up. So Sonny Gray is one that Lesky said. Gray's gonna be a free agent after the season. It said he's open to waiving his no trade clause, which it feels like every freaking player has a no trade clause. Boston has quietly looked like the Astros' best fit for pitching depth like this. He's having a great season for the Red Sox, and he'd fit
Phenomenal
any
season.
contender's rotation. So there's one guy. Another guy who I have been a fan of for years, and who's still doing it, Aroldis Chapman. That's another name. Left-hander solved their bullpen issues. And he says here, this is well before their hot stretch, but reports put his odds of being traded at higher than 90%. While he hasn't been quite as good as this year, he's still a dominant late inning reliever, which again, those are words and Houston Astros that don't go together right now. Dominant back end bullpen guy besides Josh
Yeah.
Hader. So can you
And
imagine
Okert deserves his love.
Oker too? So can you imagine a 7, 8, 9 of
Who
Okert in the
closes?
seven?
Who
Oh,
closes?
Hader.
Does he?
Chapman. I would say so because if you're
Does he? I
listen,
mean,
if you're shutting
you
down the game in the seventh inning, give me Okert in the seventh, Chapman in the eighth, and then Hader at the nine. Oh,
and then you
that's
can
it.
have just De Los Santos and Brian King or slash Kaiwei Tang just
Exactly.
be long. Like I think because I mean Kaiwei like yesterday he was a good long man.
Yeah, he was.
Kaiwei Tang's a long man. That's one of the things like when you went back to the pitchers that Dana Brown
Mhm.
acquired, I was okay with Kaiwei Tang. He's looked good. He's not meant to be a starter. He's meant to be a reliever, and that's okay because look at Christian Javier. He pitched well yesterday out of the bullpen. That's fine. You can be a reliever in this league.
Yeah,
Like
everyone's
you
not a
are not
starter.
not every
Yeah.
single pitcher has to be a starter.
No, absolutely. And no, to your point, credit to Dana Brown, that one is a win. Like we give wins out here. Like we acknowledge
We
like,
we we, we
yeah,
acknowledge wins.
we give wins.
If we are vocal when they are bad, we have to be equally as vocal when they succeed.
Of
You
course.
gave up you gave up a non-ranked prospect for Kaiwei Tang.
Right. Exactly.
Like a
And totally understand.
non-ranked. I think he was actually number 31 ranked on our system as a catcher.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
think
like a
like
24-year-old catcher. Like that's fine.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, you're good there. Let's see, player three on this list right here. Another guy who's supposedly has long since been an Astros target. Supposedly, Jaron Duran from the
Oh
Red Sox.
God, no,
So
I'm
that's
okay. I'm
yeah, right.
okay.
He's
I'm
on the list.
okay. I'd rather
Currently
have Mickey
slashing what is it?
Modiak.
Currently slashing what 194, 259, 350 splits. So yeah, now Kirby Yates is another name that's up on this
Ooh,
list right here. Having a bounce back year at Anaheim, emerged as one of the most likely relievers to be dealt by August 3rd. He's cheap, he'll be a free agent, and he looks like he fixed the righty reliever issue immediately. And
yeah.
lastly, I think you already said his name, Jeff McNeil. I think you already said. Um, and I want to say, what was it? Well, no, I don't think so. But anyway, man, so those are just some names to put out there. But that really just depends on, like you said, the next 12 to 15 games, what do the Astros look like? If they limp out to, let's say, what, over 15 games, what friggin' 6-9, something like that, or 7-8, or 8-9. Anything that's barely breaking even right now still leaves you after 15 games like 7 games below 500. Like,
Then you get sketchy. But I say if you win, say if you win, say if the not miracle because I'm not going to degrade my baseball team. Say we win 10 out of the next 15.
that would be
That would say
absolutely.
I think I'm not going to speak for you, but I think you and me both be like okay if you're going to buy, do it carefully.
Because if you win 10 out of 15, that gives you 10-5. I think that immediately makes you, based off of how suck the AL West has been, I think you're first place in AL West at the end of that stretch if you're 10-5.
If the Mariners just continue to be so
Right.
mediocre.
Exactly. So it's like 10-5 record can possibly get you the first overall, seed in your division. So, but again, that is, and I've said this on X numerous times, Froggy, is that it's not that I don't think the Astros can win a single game or even a series. It's that, so more often than not, it just feels like so many things have to go right on an inning by inning basis just for them to look competent, just for them to get out of an inning, just for them to just cobble together enough offense when Yordan is in the dugout, to make things matter. I don't like feeling that way, right? So it's like until that changes, where every game does not feel like it is just a slog and a slugfest and a just man, you're just scraping the bottom of the barrel just for competence around the organization. Like until that changes, like you said, I think indifferent is a perfect word. I don't think you should get overly excited. I don't think you should just throw your hands up because there are things to do. It's just again, I'm on the more of the selling side. I think that honestly, I just don't want to mortgage the future on a bad season. I think that I think you got the next series or two. I honestly do.
Yeah,
I would say, matter of fact, I'll call my shot now, Froggy. I will tell you this: if the Houston Astros get swept by the Marlins,
yeah,
who they're playing tonight, if they get swept by the Marlins, that would give them they would drop what the last four series in a row. That gives
absolutely.
them back-to-back sweeps, 6 games
Yeah,
dropped in a row, and
at
being
home.
swept at home. I think wrap it up. I
Wrap
think
it up.
that's about it. I think that's wrap it up. You'll be 10 games below 500. There's no coming. I'm not saying there's no coming back, but it is highly unlikely that you will go 50-9 to end the season. I don't want to say, at that point you're just identifying who you're going to trade. So that at that point now, and I would not be shocked if, not gonna lie to you, I thought a guy like Josh Miller was kind of safe, but I think I could see him getting let go sometime soon. Crazy enough, I think he can be let go before Joe Espada, weirdly enough. But I think you're going to start seeing personnel members start dropping, if they get swept here. So again, we'll see. They play in about 8 to 10 minutes. So, we'll see, Froggy. But
Yeah,
man, are there
we play in 18 minutes.
yeah, man. So, but are there any kind of final words you want to say? As we close up this first inaugural episode of Astros coverage, heading into this series against the Marlins.
I love my baseball team. I love this team. I've loved this team my entire life. I remember watching with my grandpa, God rest his soul, when I was younger, when we were truly in the gutter.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this team dead to rights, and I saw this team rise to a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this team has dynasty potential, but I think this team can still be fun. I think this team can still be a playoff team. I still think this team, Clayton, can still win a playoff series.
Mm-hmm.
I just think again, to quote a very reliable guy in Chandler Rome,
Mm-hmm.
right? Credit to him.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into Brett Chansey over at H Town Wheelhouse, if you're gonna be a buyer, play like a buyer. Play like a buyer. Play like you're gonna, because like I said, it all starts tonight. Go shell Jansen Junk. Go make Jansen Junk shelled. I think we play Sandy Alcantara too. Shell Sandy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Shell Sandy. Shell. I don't know. Max Meyer's been phenomenal. I don't know about Max Meyer, but shell him. If we place Gusto, give him the worst homecoming of all time. Shell him as well. Start shelling pitchers. Start showing the league that that we can still be one of the most, because when we started the season, we were elite offense.
Mm-hmm. We were.
Elite offense.
Yep.
Go be an elite offense and have serviceable pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Say if cause I think tonight, Fresnel goes 5 innings of 1 run ball, 2 run ball, and if the offense plays well, I call that a win in my book. If
Mm-hmm.
Imai goes out, and like I said, Imai is take it or leave it. If Imai goes out there, right, and say Imai gives us, maybe say we get an Imai classic. Remember when he faced the Guardians and the Tigers, where he went like 6 innings, 10 Ks, like
Mm-hmm.
1 run? What if he gives us that? That's what I hope he gives us. What
Mm-hmm.
if he does that? And then you have, I think Saturday, I think is TBD, or I
Mm-hmm.
think Game 3 is TBD. Um, word was it could be Javier again. It could be even a Wesneski debut.
Mm-hmm.
If we get good pitching from this series coming up, and if we get really good like just overall production, and if we go head into, I think I'm not sure if we're playing in Houston or in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're playing in Chicago. Go beat up the White Sox in Southside
Mm-hmm.
when you're in business. Because I'm not sure. I'm not really aware of the 15 games we have coming up. Who our
Mm-hmm.
opponents are,
Oh, I
but
got
just
you
go
right
win.
here. I
Go
got you
win.
right here. Yep. So Marlins tonight starting. White Sox. So yes, you're right. We are in Chicago. Angels after that yeah, I'm sorry, in LA. You got the Rangers coming here, and then you got the Blue Jays here.
Are we in it?
Yes, you are. We are.
Because
Yes.
I thought, because I thought every I thought every series. I thought you rotate. because I thought the last series we played in Anaheim was in Anaheim. That was my bad.
Sure. I mean, yep.
Like I said,
Yep.
we have a chance to we can win the next two series because the pitching is very bad for those two teams. Not really bad, but it's not great for those two teams in the White Sox and the Marlins. Anaheim, sweep them. You know, because the Angels are sweepable. You and I both know this. Rangers, they only get no only played. You have is it a 4-game set or a 3-game set with the Rangers?
Against the Rangers, that is a 3-game.
You win 2 out of those 3, you're Silver Boot champions again, baby. You get that back. And yeah, the final one I forgot you said was Guardians. Is that what you said? No, it wasn't
Blue Jays.
Guardians.
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
Yep.
Go beat the Blue Jays. Go get them again. Oh, those are 5 teams that are killable. You go win those and go give me a pitcher and a lefty you go get me the mythological. I call it quote unquote. Go give me the mythological folklore left-handed outfielder that we want. Sure, do it.
Froggy, I mean, listen, I commend you, sir. You know why? Because we need people like Froggy in this world, man. Guys who, they hold it down, man, no matter what, man. That's how I know what real fandom is. And I'll say this, man, to ride your wave for a second. Could they beat these teams? Sure. Could they win these series? Because again, to a lot of people who either are lapsed on baseball or don't really understand this, you don't have to win every game. It's about stacking series. That's what you want to do. Can they win these series? Absolutely. But Froggy, I'm afraid that the Astros are they're out of the place where you can say of them, hey, these are beatable teams, or you're in a soft spot of your schedule. No. You are the soft spot of a schedule. You're not punching down. This is your weight class. So when you're struggling against the Rangers, when you're struggling against LA, when you're struggling against who else we got? Oh, the Marlins and teams like that. Heck, against the Orioles, who are just as bad as you are. No, you're not losing to a bad team. No, that's your weight class. You're losing to your contemporaries. These are your peers. You are a fellow bottom dweller. But it's weird because then you took a series from the Rays, right? Like you had the start of the season that you had where everything looked great and the offense was humming and stuff like that. So again, I don't believe that the talent is gone. I don't think that the Monstars came and just took all the talent away. I don't think that happened to you. It's not Space Jam around here. But like you said, Froggy, we'll wrap up from here. I just think you're looking at a team. They just look tired. They look defeated mentally. They look like they're waiting on some kind of answer, or they just look like they're trying to pull every lever that they can, and it's just not working. And to put it like in a basketball context, man, it just feels an awful lot like you got Yordan Alvarez dribbling at the top of the key. If you're a Houston sports fan, you already know this, having seen James Harden, Kevin Durant last year. You got your superstar dribbling at the top of the key, and what are the role players doing, Froggy? Just standing and watching.
You got Yordan and Peña as KD and Amen.
Standing and watching while they go to work. And on some nights it can work, but on the vast majority of times they're only 2 people. There's only so much they can do. So, but anyway, guys, listen, that was this episode. Thank you, Froggy, so much, man. It was my honor and privilege to have you. And again, kudos and thank you, sir. Like, you helped inspire this. You stepped up and said, hey, man, let's do this. And we did it. So, sir, this is the first episode of the Astros branch of We Want Houston podcast, and you'll see this anywhere else. But, don't be shocked when you see more Astros. But, hey, guys, let's stop all the arguing. Let's stop all the bickering, man. We got some baseball to watch. We're Houstonians, man. I know we can get lost in the sauce a little bit, but, we're all passionate. And look, at the end of the day, some tough conversations will be had at the end of the season regardless. Let's just hope that, we can get a move on certain needed things sooner rather than later. But Froggy, thank you so much for coming on, sir. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. And let's watch this Astros game, man. Hopefully we get it up.